What's happening, gamers? James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com, bringing you guys an early access preview of the very first expansion to Tera called Fate of Arun that takes place in a brand new territory, the mysterious continent of Northern Arun. Now, this new expansion brings in not only the new territory to explore, but 4 new epic dungeons that are very challenging, let me tell you. An increased level cap to 65, a brand new battleground mode that combines both PvE and PvP together, brand new skills for each class, and even some quality of life add-ons to enchanting and daily quest tracking. So much stuff it's actually going to be hard to show you guys everything. But luckily, with the help from Enmask giving me a leveled account, I got a chance to hop in the server really early to check out as much new content as I could take in. So I'll show you guys what I ran into and then some. Meanwhile, we also have a giveaway going on. Not sure if you guys noticed at the giveaway section at MMOHuts.com, but we've got exclusive Blitz Wolf Mount Packs for you guys, which give you an awesome mount to keep permanently and some gold and XP boosts to get you guys going in the new content. So be sure to check the description below to find out how to pick that up. So, for now, let's get into it. First things first, the new expansion is set to launch today, Tuesday the 16th, free for everyone. So you can finish watching up this video and start it, or start the download right now. You should be patching right now. And for just a little taste of the lore of what's going on in the new expansion, this new area right here is called X Prima, and it's just outside of the new cities, one of the new main cities, the Baraka city, Highwatch. And as you might already know from the expansion announcement, venturing through this new content, we start to learn the origins of the Barakan race, and if you already know a little Tera lore, you might recall that Tera was built upon 2 sleeping titans, Arun and Shara, and the Barakas built this new city to overlook the ruins as a reminder of these 2 giants in their perpetual sleep. And this area here is a level 62 to 63 zone, so we're kind of right in the middle of the content, and right away we see the new areas tying back to the lore in Tera, which is honestly really cool. And on that note, the premise of this expansion is that there's a war prep going on in the south that is aimed right at Northern Arun. But as you ride along for this battle, you start to see that there's a little known threat that has been locked away while the south has been a little preoccupied with its own affairs, as you might know. And as you venture through the new areas, eventually you start facing the Archdivas, who have manipulated these creatures and started creating these monstrosities that you'll see, and of course all the new BAMs that you'll end up having to fight. And let me just say that these guys are extremely tough, and their actions reflect their looks. Pretty accurate. But before reaching X Prima, you venture through Spring Valley, which is another one of the new areas, and before that, a place known as Savage Reach, which is a very vibrant new area. And this is where you first land after your trip to Arun via giant airship, which is awesome. You even have to fight a BAM on the deck of the airship, so it starts getting hectic, and it sort of gets you fired up for what's ahead. But trust me, this is barely a warm-up fight. It doesn't even compare to the difficulty of even the trash mobs in Northern Arun. But once you get here in Savage Reach, this starts to give you an example of what's happening to the nature surrounding Arun and what the Archdivas are doing to it. They've poisoned the area and experimented on the creatures and basically made the nature want to kill you, as you might expect. But despite that, you can see just how nice looking the area is with all the details in the trees and the colors. It's just super vibrant. We even have a massive rhino beetle here, which is awesome looking. And Savage Reach is the home to one level 65 dungeon called Ravenous Gorge, which has 3 new BAMs to fight as you work your way up this massive tree. And I didn't really get a chance to try this dungeon, but the level 60 dungeon with 3 people was hard enough, trust me. This one is the Apex Armory in the next area called Spring Valley, and this area is absolutely flooded with enemies as you start to get a feel for the war going on and how these mobs are influenced by the Archdivas. Even the small mobs in this area are tough to deal with. You really gotta not aggro them if you're by yourself, and some of the new quests make that even more challenging because you gotta try to pull certain mobs out and away from others so that way you don't, have the entire area locked on you wanting to kill you. But despite having to kill everything inside, I've got to admit, I really like the way my Reaper was set up combo-wise. Good DPS, and of course strong CC, and just overall fun to use, and in my opinion was the best looking as far as skills in the game. And then again, the Reaper is the most recently added class, so that might be part of it. Either way, it seems to work really nice with Tera's combat, as you might expect, and if you haven't tried the Reaper, I would definitely suggest trying it. But with this new expansion, each one of the classes actually gets a new skill at level 65. For the Reaper, you've got Shrouded Escape, which makes you go stealth and allows you to lose aggro on enemies, which would have been super helpful in nearly any situation where I'm having to pull mobs, or when facing some of the harder BAMs in the level 60 dungeons. The Archer gets a Thunderbolt skill that acts as a concussive shot that knocks enemies back, and the Slayer has a new skill called Eviscerate that also does a knockback, but tags on, of course, a lot of damage on top of that. And that's just some of the new skills available. Like I said, each class gets a new skill, but you don't gain access to them until level 65. Not only that, but they've also added easier ways to enchant your weapons and fuse unused crystals into new ones. So there's plenty of ways to up your damage and take advantage of higher level gear in this new expansion. Now, for those of you like me who like new quality of life features in expansions like these, you're absolutely going to love this. If you press the H key, a new play guide window pops up that completely organizes your daily quest into one area and tons of other stuff. It basically outlines all the stuff that you should be doing at any given time. So the first main window here at the top shows you your current storyline quest, and most of the time it'll actually display what reward you will be getting for completing that quest, which is nice if you ask me. It's a lot better than your typical quest log. To the right of that, you have a roll call window that tracks your daily login over the span of 7 days, and of course, the more you log in, the more you start to gain these tiny little buffs, which aren't overpowering, but give you a nice little boost to your gameplay, like speed boost, for example, things like that. To the right of that, we have a weekly bonus that keeps track of all your questing that you've been doing in the play guide, and at the end of the week, if you've done enough, then you're rewarded badges for the new reputation system, which will in turn even give you more rewards. So it makes it really nice because you can see what you need to do, you can find a group if needed, actually teleport to where you need to go to do your dailies, and then collect your rewards right from one single menu. And with this, of course, you also notice that there are enemies with green exclamation points over them that indicate that they go towards your play guide quest, so that makes it even easier. And overall, it makes your life easier when doing your dailies in general. I suppose I'll be the one to say that they've needed this in Tera for a while now, so thankful it's here now. So I've got to admit, one of the coolest parts of this new expansion, to me anyway, was the crazy new BAMs and the overall look of Bethesmal's Rise dungeon, which is essentially the final dungeon in the game, even though just like the other level 65 dungeon, it's not in the final zone. So from Ex Prima, you navigate even further north, past the crazy lava birds that you might not want to mess with, at least until, you have a big enough group of people to help with, until you get to this area here, which is the entrance to Bethesmal Rise. Now, the lore here is that when the giants of the old got overthrown, the gods smashed their cities into the rubble that you see all around this area. This castle was the only thing that survived because it actually rose from beneath the sea. Even as every other building crumbled, it was safe from the chaos. So you can see, you can actually walk out onto this platform. At first it's a little scary, and you can see down below to the water, and the dungeon itself is below the water, which gives it an awesome view. As you're walking through it, which is cool because it's so big that you can actually mount up, you'll notice that you've got all kinds of sea life swimming around you, and of course, the new hardcore BAMs in this area are also sea creatures. And like I said, this is a level 65 dungeon. It is the final dungeon in the new expansion, and the BAMs here all have new boss mechanics, so along the way, you've got to learn these new mechanics. So I'm going to give you a little insight on this. Spoiler alert, the first boss here is a giant turtle called Nephesis, and he's got some cool mechanics, but luckily he also has easily identified tells when he's about to attack. Now, this boss fight also incorporates the environment, just like several of the bosses in Ravenous Gorge will. You'll notice that too. But he has an attack that causes trippy effects on you. It's almost like he gives you acid to trip on, basically, which of course affects your movement and mostly vision. So you've got to run over to these rocks here in order to cleanse yourself from the effect, and your team as well. And honestly, the trippy effect is pretty entertaining, but of course it's also dangerous, as you might imagine. So look forward to that. And sort of the same thing goes for the next BAM, which is a giant anglerfish, which I think they did a really good job on the artwork on this guy. But this guy uses pools of fear to control you, or try to control you. It's not trippy, but if you get targeted, you won't be able to move in the direction that you think you're moving in. And if this happens, you gotta try to manage to get to the pool in the center of the boss room here as fast as possible in order to cleanse this effect. But you gotta be quick, because apparently, according to the senior producer on Tera, he's one of the fastest bosses in the game so far. Now, the final boss in this dungeon has you platform just a little bit in order to reach him initially, and then as he starts attacking, he hurls ball lightning at you that does a lot of damage, but also stick around. So you've got to dedicate members of the group in order to take out these orbs. Otherwise, you'll have to not only deal with the boss, but you'll also have to deal with tons of these little things all over the boss room that are also trying to kill you. Now, here we are level 65s, each one of us, with the best gear in the game and some help from the GMs, and it's still really hard in order to take this guy down. So he's going to be even harder for most players that are just getting in to reach him. He's got so many different attacks, some of which are giant AoEs where you actually have to go into the smaller circle in the center, closer to him, to stay away from the damage that's going on basically everywhere else. All this water rushes in and then pushes you out. And yeah, if you're playing DPS, you pretty much get one shot if you get hit by any of his blade attacks. So this dungeon altogether is designed to be one of the most intense challenges for players to experience in the entire new expansion. I would definitely agree that it is. The new content in general is challenging enough, and this tops it. But honestly, this is just a fraction of what the expansion has to offer. There's still plenty of other cool aspects that I didn't exactly get to show you guys, like, for example, the Coliseum battleground mode that has 2 teams of players race to battle enemies in a PvE arena, and even the final area of the game where you get to see the fight against the Archdivas and the environment around you is being pelted with cannon fire. It's pretty awesome. But I can say that I did get enough time exploring the new continent early to tell you guys who love Tera that you are absolutely in for a treat. And speaking of treats, like I said before, we've got a special Blitz Wolf Mount giveaway going on right now, and I've saved 400 keys for you guys in the description below. It's the same code for everyone, but it can only be redeemed 400 times. I'll make sure to put instructions on how to redeem it in the description as well. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. Pick up your Blitz Wolf Mount and hop on an airship to Northern Arun starting today, December 16th. Like always, pick up more information about Tera in general at the MMOHuts game profile, and until next time guys, that's going to be it for me. I'm James Blonde. See you out there, gamers.